friends, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys could join me today. Are you ready for a card that is going to bring a smile to someone's face? Oh, today's cards are so much fun with a little retro twist. Some really fun bright colors that just scream summertime and joy. I think you're going to love today's Fun Fold card. They're a little unique, but super simple. And we love simple around here, right? Okay, let's head over to my stamping table and get to creating. If you guys have followed me for long, you know I love all things retro. And the brand new Layering Diorama Dies are just that. They're retro, fun, whimsical. Today we're going to do a Sunny Thoughts card, and it's kind of a unique little gatefold, little fun fold there. You can pick your favorite flowers. I'm going to be using the floral squares today, but in bloom, you know, we've got tons of flowers, right? Use what you guys already have to create this card, but I really wanted to feature those Layering Diorama Dies. So we're going to create our little fun card. Here we go. Let's talk about the cardstock you need. I decided to change it up. So this one I did in Bermuda Bay, but this card I'm going to do in the Magenta Madness because I thought that would just be fun. So the cardstock is cut 5.5 by 8.5. And our scoring lines here are 2 3/4 and 7 inches. And that's what's going to give us, it's a unique fold, but it's not difficult to do. By the way, the finished card will be a 4 1/4 by 5.5. So it's going to fit into a medium-sized envelope. On the side here, we're going to add some designer series paper. From the Brights collection, I went with Mango Melody. That is cut 1 1/4 by 5.5. Now for the diorama pieces, I'm going to use Bermuda Bay. That is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then for the layering piece on that, basic white, 3 inches by 4 inches. For your flowers, time to use up your scraps. I know you've got lots of them. These are just some scraps that I pulled out of my scrap bin, and they are just the right size for my flowers. And for my flowers, I'm using the floral squares. I loved this adorable little flower, and look, it really does just take a scrap. So that's what we need to create the card. So first things first, let's create that diorama. So you can see we have some really large ones, and you get 3. Then we have one that's a little bit smaller. So these are, we're going to call the medium size one. That's the one we're going to use today. And then we have some smaller ones, which are perfect for your smaller sentiments. So we're going to use these medium size. You'll know what one to use because they fit perfectly inside the pieces of cardstock that we cut. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and die cut. And you see they're going to layer inside each other nicely. This would make a great cloud too, wouldn't it? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our stamping here. I'm going to use a Bermuda Bay ink pad. Hey, my stamp set is another brand new stamp set. I love sentiment stamp sets. Sunny Sentiments is perfect for this. Thought you could use some Sunny Thoughts today. Perfect card for just because, you know, just because we think people are awesome. So let's ink that up. Again, I said I'm going to use the Bermuda Bay on this one. Here on my original, though, I did use the Magenta Madness. So I just wanted to match whatever my background color was there. So let's stamp this right there in the center. And then we can just adhere that right here onto our layering piece. Okay, ready? Our stamping's done. That is all we needed, was a great sentiment. So we're going to do a little work here on our card. So let me bring in my original, and I'm going to zoom in. Can you see this incredible background? I love polka dots. I thought it was just perfect to go with this retro card. So to create those polka dots, I'm bringing in the checks and dots embossing folders. Aren't these great, by the way? So watch what I'm going to do. There's that 2 3/4 inch fold. Remember how we folded that? I'm just going to line up the edge right there. I'm going to lay this flat, and I can run that through my machine just like this. And you can see we just have the embossing here on the left side. Now to dress up the right side, let's add our Mango Melody Designer Series paper. While I do that, hey, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I want to encourage you to click that great big red subscribe button. We'd love to have you join us. I share videos twice a week here on my channel. I love to share crafting tips and ideas and cards. I love to do fun folds. All right, do you see the bright colors? Isn't that fun? Okay, we're now going to add that sentiment. Remember the one that we die cut? Now here's one of my tips, because I don't want to seal my card shut or they can't open it. That would be horrible, right? We only want adhesive here on the side. We don't want adhesive here. So here's my tip. I like to take my sentiment and I like to flip it over and I can line it up. So now I can use this as a guide, as in don't put adhesive on that side. So I can add adhesive here, just a few dots. This Stampin' Seal is really strong. Now I can flip it over. I can add my sentiment. Now I'm going to tell you my other little trick is not to press anything down yet. I'm going to go ahead. Well, helps if you press it down just enough to hold it in place. Let's try that again. We'll add it right there. I'm going to give it just a gentle press. I'm going to flip it over. I want to make sure I did okay, and I did, but I just want to make sure there's no adhesive showing. When you're happy with it, you can give that a press. Card's looking okay, but it needs a little love. So let's bring in our scrap pieces of cardstock. Now remember, I said you can use any flower. If you have a flower punch, if you have a different die set, whatever you have, it's going to work fine. I want to cut out 2 of each color because we're also going to use those here on the inside. And this just reminded me, I failed to tell you that you also need a piece of basic white 4 by 5 1/4. Once again, proof that Connie always needs more coffee before she shoots a video. So let's be sure to get that too, because again, it just adds a lot of brightness to our card. But I'm going to take these over to my die cutting machine. And again, as I said, I'm going to cut out and die cut 2 of each flower. Now this flower in particular, I want to point this out. It has a dot that's going to punch out of the center. For this one in particular, I want to save that dot. I'm going to use it. But depending on what die you use, you may or may not have that. But let's go ahead and have 2 of each color flower. All right, let's go do that. So to decorate, we're simply just going to add a few flowers here. You can use your multi-purpose glue. You can use your Stampin' Seal, whatever makes you happy. Sometimes I like to just mix it up. The glue is so handy. Stampin' Seal, like I said, is a great product, but sometimes you just want quick and easy, right? So I'm going to add my Bermuda Bay flower there. Yeah, you can see the multi-purpose glue is just a quickie, and we like that. And I'm going to add my Marvelous Magenta Madness. Sorry, guys, I keep calling it the wrong thing. We had a color named Marvelous Magenta years ago, and I tend to keep calling it that. All right, now remember what I told you about the little dots that we held on to? I'm actually going to mix it up a tiny bit here. On the outside of my card, I'm going to use my opal rounds. Just something I love to do. I love to add little bits of bling and dimension to my cards. Whoops, that went flying. So we're going to add, look at that. Don't you love what those opal rounds do? Now, I always like to say use what you have. If you have the adhesive back rhinestones, ooh, those would be so pretty. If you have the black matte dots, they would also be gorgeous. So there's the outside of my card. It's looking great. Now let's just finish off the inside of the card. So I'm going to take that 4 by 5 1/4, you know, the one I failed to tell you about. Yeah, that's the one. And I am going to add my 3 flowers here in the upper left corner. Hey, if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator, guys. You can find me over at simplysimplestamping.com, and you can order any of the supplies I used on my card right there. Here's where we're going to add those little dots. So I'm just going to put a dot of my multi-purpose glue inside each of those. Remember, I had my Take Your Pick tool out earlier because I was using it on to add those opal rounds. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that again to pick up. I'm just giving it a little press. And right now they're all upside down, of course. And there's also the putty end. The putty end works great. And we'll add that one right there. Whoops. Oh, well, come on, putty. You're actually too strong. There we go. And my last one right there. Oh, isn't it so cute? I love it. Now we can simply add this to the inside of my card. By the way, those extras, yep, we're actually not going to use those. We simply add that to the inside of our card. Oh, so bright and cheery. Let me go ahead and bring in, that's my Bermuda Bay version. Aren't they just fun? Guys, I think you're going to absolutely adore creating with the layering dioramas. I mean, they are fun. They're also going to be great if you want something that looks a little more like water, but I don't know. I'm just a retro girl at heart, and these cards stole my heart. I hope they did yours too. Those diorama dies are out of this world, aren't they? I hope that you like them too. If you don't have these in your collection, I do highly recommend them. And hey, did you know you can order those right from my website? You can just go over to simplysimplestamping.com and you're going to see a link to the complete supply list for my cards today. You'll see where to get the diorama cards. You could get the those fabulous embossing folders and even that stamp set as well. It's really sweet. But remember what I always say. Use what you have. Check your stash and see what you have. You could turn those into an oval instead of the diorama, but just have fun with what you have. But you know, sometimes there's just nothing like new dies and new stamps. Am I right? Okay, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you'll take a minute to click the red subscribe button. Get notified whenever I'm back with a new video. And until next time, my friends, we'll see you soon. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.